everyone! We're still in Las Vegas, immersed in the heart of the World Series of Poker in one of the unmissable summer tournaments, the $10,000 Six Max. Pierre Calamusa, who was already in a strong position at the end of day one, wasted no time in making his move at the start of day two. After 2 hours of play, he found himself with his biggest stack since the start of the tournament, 300,000 chips on 2,000, 4,000 blinds. There are still 160 players left out of the 500 who registered. The bubble is a long way off, so now is definitely not the time to take your foot off the gas. Come on, Pierre, keep up the pace.
Probably fold this hand, so it'll be 44.
King 6 of diamonds, perfect. Easy raise from the cutoff. How much is he playing? 75, 80, 90, 100, about 25 blinds? A little over 100,000. Okay. King 4-5. Can I range bet? I think I can check this king. It's my worst king, and I can... It might allow me to have a great bluff catcher against aggression on the turn and river with this check-check line. I know that against players like this who defend with a relatively small stack, I shouldn't c-bet king-high boards too often because he can check-raise me too often with any top pair. I'm going to stick to the plan and simply call everything after, whatever the river is. A 10. Well, obviously, if he bets huge, it's not going to be the most comfortable spot because I won't be beating his value range, but once I've slow played it, I've seen from experience that some players just can't help themselves from betting too much as a bluff on the turn and river, and that allows me to win pots that way too. He's thinking. Observe him, Pierre. He's thinking. From experience, I'd say he's looking to bluff here. Anyway, I have a relatively obvious call. Perfect, he mucks. Let's go. All these medium-sized pots are very, very, very important. It might seem like nothing, but it can allow me to approach the pre-bubble phase as the dominant stack, and that can be a treasure for me. Well, new player in seat 6. I don't think I know him, but I know he's a professional player. I've played against him occasionally, but I don't have a clear idea of his game. Anyway, he doesn't have a ton of chips. There are quite a few short stacks at the table. I can't just do anything either. I'm going to play a bit tighter now. One less American chance of winning this bracelet.
Raise.
King 6 of clubs, easy raise.
Raise.
I've learned those spots inside out, and this King 6 suited is a very good raise in this spot. was going to shove. What is he doing? Okay, he calls.
Option.
Okay, normally this is one of my strong nodes.
Heads up.
Hijack versus big blind 20 effective. 10-9-7. I need to play very polarized here, and my hand is just too good to turn it into a bluff. If I get check raised, it's catastrophic. I have a gut shot, I have a backdoor straight draw, I have a backdoor flush draw. But now, however, this 2 of spades changes things. Now my hand becomes absolute garbage, and if he checks, I'm going to have to bluff it. Alright, I'm going to execute my plan here. Yeah, great. He folds smoothly.
Blinds.
Alright, always taking notes on hands. It gives me a kind of mental exercise, which is interesting. It's almost like having a process. Each hand played. It allows me to have a bit more structure too. That's not so bad. Alright, blind versus blind. Normally, also one of my strong games. Okay, raise to 10,000. Ace 10 offsuit. Well, it's just going to be a shove. No reason to bother doing anything else. He has about 20 big blinds. He'll probably have to call with hands like ace 9, ace 8, so it's a shove. This player, I think I know him. He's an American player named Baldwin, I believe. Americans, I have no idea how they play. Often, they're a bit clueless or they're absolutely top-notch. I think he's actually somewhat of a legend in the game, but I don't know him. Oh, first premium of the day. A nice pair of queens. I'm going to raise to 10,000. Nice and easy. The button just calls. How much does he have?
You play 200 roughly?
240.
Okay, he has 240,000, 50 big blinds. Well, at least it's easy to play, it's just a check. I hope I don't get struck by lightning too hard on the following streets. Obviously a check back would be best. He could still have a few aces, hands like ace 3 of spades, things like that to beat me. So I'm going to have to be a bit cautious on 4th street. Okay, the 5. Now pocket 5s also beats me. I'm just going to check this hand. My hand only has 1 street of value and I'd rather take it on the river. Come on, please check. If he starts betting, it's going to stink a bit. Anyway, I'm not going to fold on 4th street, but it could become a complicated spot on the turn and river. Okay, he checks. 6. It doesn't change much, it just brings in a set of 6s, but that's about it. He could still have pocket 9s, pocket 10s, king 8 suited, things like that. I'm just gonna bet for value. Snap fold. What did he have? King queen? Something like that, maybe?
Raise.
Alright, ace 3 of spades.
55?
Easy call against this player. He has 11 big blinds. He lost a huge hand. Check. I don't have a lead here. Not flush draw anyway. It's always going to go for it against such a small stack. Call. What does he have? Okay, pocket kings. Well, his line doesn't really exist, I don't think, in theory. Come on, spade, spade, spade. Boom. Perfect, the 7 of spades saves me. Let's go, that's 10 more big blinds in my stack. That's actually significant. Especially that now. I'm clearly establishing myself as the chip leader at the table, and that's very good for the rest of the day. First because now I have a pretty good chance of making the money, but also because I have a real opportunity to build a big stack when the bubble arrives. Okay, limped pot in a battle of the blinds. Queen 5 of diamonds, an easy check. Okay, it was pretty certain he was going to bet one blind. That's not at all how you should play in theory. I have an easy call with Queen 5 of diamonds then. No point in betting here. Oh, a 5. I just need to watch out for the jack. The jack gives him a straight. If he bets, it's gonna be complicated, but okay, he checks. He could still have hands like a king, a 10. Well, here I have an easy value bet. I think 2/3 pot, 3/4 pot, 20,000 would be pretty good. Try to make him pay with a king. He might be getting tired of this. He might even call me with a 10 maybe. That still leaves him with 5 blinds if he folds. He's going to be on the button. He might be tempted to call. Yeah, this sizing is really good. He looks annoyed. Oh, and he folds. Not too bad. But I'm continuing my streak of winning pots, and I'm slowly building my tower of chips. It's always exciting in such an expensive tournament to be in a position of strength. Papazian arrives, not good news. He's a player who's given me problems online and on live tournaments in the past. but I don't know why it's another player who's giving him his chips.
Professional assistant.
What is this all about?
Only for the best.
Very, very strange that another player was allowed to touch his chips.
That's very good.
Anyway, this is really bad news.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to play tighter with John Reisner, also a legend of the game, who plays a lot of mixed games, who had finished second or third in the main event. I can't remember exactly.
It could be much more.
All right, I need to incorporate something I was also doing on day one, and it's to try to talk a bit more to the players who I think have weaknesses, to try to get some reads. It costs nothing and it can pay off big.
Shocking queen one time. Shocking queen one time.
This spot, I bluffed him with almost nothing.
Yes?
Flush.
Wow, but he came old. Now, when he was young, you don't bluff him. Now he's old. No?
This is good. I like the intensity I'm putting in. Okay. A6 on the button, easy raise.
In front of old people. I don't know how much I have.
Okay, a button versus small blind pot. I'm not super familiar with this. I'll have to deal with it. Okay, Queen Jack 5, monotone flop, and I have the nut flush draw. I'm just gonna check very often here. King, Well, I'm going to have a great semi-bluff on the turn and try to make pocket 7s or pocket 8s fold. Try to put a ton of pressure on a hand like Queen 8 of diamonds now. And most importantly, I'll never get my equity stolen now that I have a gut shot as well, and that if I bet, I'll simply be able to call the check raise since we're very deep against Papazian. Come on, fold, 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 fold. Fold your 6s or your 7s. He's tanking for a while. Okay, he raises. Well, I'm going to stick to the plan. Anyway, I don't really have a reason to do anything else. I'm going to call the additional 48,000 and hope to hit. And if he checks, I will potentially have a possible bluff. 6 of clubs. This card isn't going to change anything. Only having the 6 of diamonds in hand isn't too bad since he could potentially bluff from time to time with 6s with a spade on the turn. And I'm blocking that combination now, but it's really marginal. Oh boy, he's going to fire a big bet for sure. And the question facing a big bet is, should I make a completely crazy bluff by going all in? Can my 6 beat his bluffs now? Or should I just fold? It's pretty crazy, all the options. This hand is going to be complex no matter what, whether he checks or bets. I'm going to have a decision to make. It's a big pot, observe him. Don't miss anything. How much does he bet? 125,000. I'm blocking ace-10. I'm blocking the nut flushes. The problem is that here, when he calls from the small blind, he never really has a hand like ace-8 or ace-9 with a spade that could make a huge bluff. He wouldn't defend those, he'd either 3-bet them or fold them, so I'm having trouble seeing what he could be bluffing with. He can't have offsuit hands that don't make a straight. If he has ace-10 with a spade, that makes a straight. Ace-9, he can't have it. Ace-8, he can't have it. Ace-8 with a spade, that's not possible. So he would have to be bluffing with something like pocket sevens with a spade. Yeah, I'm going to fold.
Pass.
Excuse me.
Pass.
Because of the coffee. Really?
You can show it if you bluff. It's a good bluff. You show it?
How much for showing? Because you get views.
I fold something good.
Huh?
I fold something good.
I bluffed something good.
You bluffed?
Did I say I bluffed? I mean,
But-
I raised something.
I need to try to get the information.
Nice time, Michael.
I tried everything to get him to tell me what he had, but I didn't succeed too bad.
Give me Argentina.
Alright, the table is breaking.
Nice run, John.
It's the same.
I'm not sure if I'm happy about it or not. The table had gotten a bit tougher. I had a good seat, but yeah, pretty good overall. It was the table, at this moment, it was the toughest table I've had in this tournament, so, well, it's also promising all these tables breaking at a regular pace. It means we're getting closer to the money. It means that there are fewer players separating me from the final table, from the potential bracelet, from the almost $1 million that will go to the winner. Okay, Jonathan Jaffe, I recognize him right away. I've played against him quite a bit at the World Series of Poker. On my right, I don't know him, an Asian player. John Reisner, who came with me. A player who looks like an amateur, I think. And this player here, who looks professional to me, but that I haven't played against much.
Why not?
And me, I still have a great stack. Alright, not too many hands. I need to take the temperature a bit, develop some reads.
You're losing 6 max. You start the rhythm, finish that in. After that in, send your players on a 15-minute break.
And this is the second break of the day.
15-minute break, then 6 max.
Adri's still in, Jimmy's still in, Julian's still in.
We'll be here.
Let's go. Stretching my legs, changing the atmosphere a bit for a quick 15 minutes. Alright, ace jack. First playable hand at this table, easy raise. Players are starting to take their time a bit, 2-3 seconds per move. It's a sign that the money is getting closer. Okay. 35 effective, hijack versus big blind, one of my strong games. Ace 9-10. I'm going to range c-bet using two sizings, a sizing of one big blind and a bigger sizing of around pot. And ace check, that's going to be in the big sizing. Now good luck if you have a 9 or a 10. And as bluffs, it's easy. It's going to be my king-queen, my small pairs. Above all, it allows me to get maximum value with my good hands. If he defended a hand like ace-4 offsuit, he's going to be forced to call. He folds, good fold this time. John, not surprisingly, raises. Ice jack from the big blind under ACM. I'm not going to 3-bet this hand. I want to have an even more polarized strategy. Early in the tournament I would have 3-bet 100%, but here I don't want to play a big pot with an offsuit hand at this point. Okay, the flop is pretty good. He co-bets big. I have an average hand that crushes all the bluffs but loses against value, so I have a completely easy call. This is really not a good turn. I'm probably gonna have to give up if he bets again. He improved with some of his bluffs, such as Queen 9, Queen 7, backdoor flush draw, things like that. King on the river, that one is pretty good though, but I just need to check and pray that he abandoned a bluff.
Ace jack.
What does he have? Queen 5. Yeah, a bit disgusted. He could bet big with absolutely nothing. But, well, he hit his queen. It was the only card that could make him win. That's how it is, but it seems like a small hand to me right now. But it's really important because it's going to give him a big stack advantage over me to attack the pre-bubble, and I'm going to have my hands tied a little bit. Okay, Malinov arrives, a very good Bulgarian player that I've played with a bit. He won the FPS Monaco, I think, this year. He must be feeling confident. Okay, Malinov eliminates Reisner. Well, anyway, this is a situation that's really going to be recurrent with Jaffe as chip leader. It's true that this is where I see that studying these situations that happen all the time is probably the best thing I've done. Ace 7. Easy defense against a range that will be quite wide from the button. Good flop for me.
Sure.
Well, he checks back. That's perfect. I've studied a lot the check-check node, big blind versus button, and here I have a slightly simplified strategy where I'm going to split my betting range in two, a bet of 1/3 of the pot and an overbet. Yeah, 65,000 is perfect. And my hand, AC7, which is very strong at this moment but could deteriorate on the river. I have to use this very big sizing. This isn't something I would have done even just 6 months ago. And it's all these new possibilities that I think can make the difference today. Isildur takes a seat. He looks relatively uncomfortable though. What could he have? He could have ace-king, ace-queen, he could have pocket sixes, pocket fours. Okay. River, ace of hearts. I think I've seen this spot too. I have to use two bet sizes, 2/3, pot typically with my hand, a hand that wants to value bet, but that isn't strong enough to check raise all in into trap, and an all in over bet with some of my flushes. And obviously incorporate bluffs in both lines. Alright, 2/3 pot is perfect, 125,000.
That is 125.
The difference here is crazy if I manage to get cold in this hand. And just 3 months ago I would have certainly bet 1/3 pot on the turn and checked the river. And now the lines are totally different. From a pot that might have been 100,000 chips, I could end up winning one that's worth more than 400,000. Now I just have to pray he calls in mucks. He still has plenty of hands that could call me. Hands like ace-king, ace-queen. Even a hand like ace-5, like king-5 offsuit, that beats my bluffs and blocks my value might call me. What do you have? What do you have? Come on, call. This could be a completely decisive pot. The pot that will propel my peak in terms of stack size. For me now, I only have one job, which is to maintain a good poker face and pray to the poker gods that he has a good hand to bluff catch with. There's really starting to be quite a bit of ICM here, so having a dominant stack would be so important. This river bet, if it gets called, would be so important. Come on, you can do it. Yes. Yes. The pot is just huge. Each green chip represents almost half a starting stack, and now I'm in great position to attack the pre-bubble.
Well done, Pierre. As you say, all the hard work you've put in over the last few months is paying off in this $10,000 Six-Max tournament. Your fluid, aggressive game is allowing you to play with complete confidence and helping you to extract as many chips as possible, even against the most experienced players, like Jonathan Jaffe here, a regular on the big high rollers. There are now less than 100 players remaining, and with your stack at 540,000 chips, you've never been in a better position to tackle the crucial bubble phase, which will begin when 77 players remain. We'll be there alongside you in the next episode of Inside the Mind of a Pro.